They found him chained to the shelter door on a Tuesday morning. No name, no history, just a folded note tucked under his collar with 3 words: "Can't keep him." Nobody thought an old dog like him had much of a future, but one woman disagreed. And what happened over the next 4 months will change the way you think about second chances. Nobody wanted him, not because he was dangerous, not because he was broken, but because he was old. And in a world that moves fast, an old dog is the first thing people walk past. This is the story of Shadow, a senior dog found chained to a shelter door on a freezing morning, a woman who never planned to have a dog, and the quiet, unhurried love that changed both of their lives forever. The animal rescue workers at Maplewood Shelter arrived on a Tuesday morning like any other, coffee in hand, keys out, ready for another long shift. But when Lisa Chen reached the front entrance, she stopped. There, chained to the door handle with a fraying rope, was a dog. Old, gray-muzzled, sitting perfectly still on the cold concrete like he'd been waiting there for hours. Because he had. A folded note was tucked under his collar. 3 words, written in a hurry: "Can't keep him." No name, no history, no explanation. Lisa crouched down in front of him. He looked up at her with those deep, tired eyes, didn't bark, didn't pull at the chain, just looked at her with an expression that asked one quiet question: what happens now? Lisa knew the answer, and it wasn't a good one. The shelter was beyond capacity. Every kennel was full. A senior dog with no history, no records, no owner. His odds were not good. But they brought him inside anyway. Gave him water, gave him a name. They called him Shadow. That same week, an email came in from a woman named Claire Bennett. Claire was 34, lived alone in a small house on the east side of town, and had one very specific request. "I'm interested in fostering, but I need to be honest. I cannot handle a high-energy dog. I work from home, I like quiet mornings, and I walk slowly. If you have a dog who would be okay with that, I'm your person. If not, I understand." Lisa read the email twice. Then she looked over at Shadow, asleep in the corner kennel, legs moving slightly like he was dreaming about somewhere warmer. She typed back immediately: "I think we have exactly the right dog for you." Claire had told herself it would be simple. Temporary, maybe. She'd provide a calm space for an older dog while the shelter found a permanent home. She wasn't looking for a commitment. She wasn't ready for one. What she wasn't prepared for was the moment Shadow walked through her front door. He didn't rush, he didn't jump, he stepped inside slowly, paused in the entryway, and looked around the house with quiet, careful eyes, like he was memorizing every corner of it. Then he walked to the living room rug, turned around exactly twice, and lay down. Like he'd always lived there, like he was finally, simply home. Claire stood in the doorway watching him. Something shifted in her chest that she didn't have a name for yet. The first week, Claire learned how to match Shadow's pace. She had always been someone who walked with purpose, fast steps, destinations, schedules. But Shadow didn't do any of that. His morning walk was slow, deliberate. Every few steps, he'd stop. Lift his nose to the air, take in whatever invisible story the wind was telling him. At first, Claire caught herself getting impatient. She had things to do, places to be. But then she noticed something. When she stopped trying to rush him and just walked beside him, slowly, without agenda, something settled inside her, the kind of quiet she hadn't felt in years. Shadow wasn't holding her back. He was teaching her something. She started looking forward to those mornings in a way she couldn't explain to anyone. The slow loop around the block, Shadow's heavy, unhurried steps on the pavement, the way he'd occasionally look up at her, just to check she was still there. She always was. I see you're still here and haven't subscribed yet. Honestly, that means a lot, but if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it now. Stories like this one deserve to be found. Don't make me beg. Months passed. The shelter sent occasional check-in messages. Any updates? How is he settling in? Claire always wrote back the same thing. He's doing well, still looking for the right permanent home. But the orthopedic dog bed she'd bought him sat untouched in the corner. Shadow preferred the couch, pressed against her side while she worked. She'd stopped putting her laptop bag by the door at night because Shadow had claimed that spot. She'd started buying his specific joint supplement without being asked. One evening, Lisa from the shelter called. "We actually have a family interested in Shadow," she said carefully. "Lovely people. Yard, retired couple, lots of time. I wanted to check with you first before—" "No," Claire said. The word came out before she'd even thought it. Silence on the line. "Claire, she exhaled slowly. No, I think he should stay here." Another pause. "Claire," Lisa said, and Claire could hear the smile in her voice. "Do you want to adopt him?" Claire looked over at Shadow. He was watching her from the couch, head tilted slightly, one ear up. She'd told herself she wasn't ready for a commitment. She'd told herself it was temporary. She'd told herself a lot of things over the past 4 months. But here was the truth she'd been quietly living all along. Every living thing needs to be loved. It doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't matter how slow. It doesn't matter if the world has already passed them by. They are still here, still breathing, still hoping that someone will sit down beside them and not be in a hurry to leave. Shadow had been chained to a door with 3-word note that said, "Can't keep him." But Claire could. "Yes," she said. "I want to adopt him." The paperwork was signed on a quiet Thursday afternoon. No celebration, no fanfare, just Claire, Shadow, and a slow walk home in the late autumn light. Shadow's steps were the same as always, heavy, deliberate, unhurried. Claire matched them step for step. She had learned somewhere in those 4 months that slow wasn't a flaw, that patience wasn't a sacrifice, that sometimes the best things in life move at exactly the pace of an old dog on a morning walk, if only you're willing to keep up. Shadow never needed to be anything other than what he was, and neither, it turned out, did she. Do you think senior dogs deserve a second chance just as much as puppies? Or do most people walk past them without even realizing it? Tell me in the comments.